Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rhode Island Latino News Opinion Plus. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community is curious about. My name is Belen Dumont, reporter and editor for Rhode Island Latino News, and today we are joined by Juan Espinoza, Communications and Development Manager, and Melissa Cruz, Community Programs Manager of the Rhode Island Coalition to End Homelessness. Welcome, Juan and Melly. Thank you for joining us this week.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It's nice to have y'all. So I was hoping to start off, Juan, if you could share a bit about the Rhode Island Coalition to End Homelessness, about the mission and how you guys support residents across the state.
Sure, I can start, and then Melly can dive into a little bit more about the areas of work that we do, and then I can fill in sort of the blanks on some of the stuff. So we were founded in 1988, and our commitment is to ensure that no Rhode Islander experiences homelessness. We promote and preserve the dignity and quality of life for men, women, and children by pursuing comprehensive and cooperative solutions to the problems of housing and homelessness. And this is accomplished through advocacy, education, collaboration, technical assistance, and selected direct services. And Melly can talk a little bit about our areas of work.
Yeah, so the coalition is not a direct service provider. However, our main areas of focus are policy and advocacy, which is Juan's realm, constituent work, which is the work that I oversee, system transformation, and training and support for service providers, educating the community on real reasons why we have homelessness and to diminish stereotypes. And we are also the lead agency for HMIS and our CES call center, which is Coordinated Entry Call Center.
That's a nice variety of things. Looks like you're definitely looking at the bigger picture of the situation and diving in here and there. That's a good transition to my next question, actually. Just to give our audience context, I know that your organization is responsible for the Homeless Management Information System. I was wondering if you could tell us what is that and really how it works. And either of you, feel free to answer.
So I'll start off, and then Melly can fill in some of the blanks. So the Homeless Management Information System is basically how we track people experiencing homelessness in the state. We do that by our annual point in time count, which just happened this past January. So that annual point in time count is a survey of folks experiencing homelessness at any given point in time in late January. This year it was on January 26th, I believe. And but the survey, the way we work it out, it actually runs the whole week, but we ask people the same question: were you homeless on this particular day in January? And that is a HUD mandated, so federally mandated. HUD stands for Housing and Urban Development. The federal agency that manages that. We are the lead agency for HMIS in the state, which means that we keep track of that data, essentially. And then and CES is the Coordinated Entry System. So when folks are experiencing homelessness, need access to shelter, or need access to other services related to housing and homelessness, they call the CES hotline. That hotline is available 24/7, and you can either call, you can chat, you can send an email, and that will connect you to an agent who will look at what are the available options to get you into shelter. Now, shelter is not guaranteed, as there is limited shelter in the state of Rhode Island, but it can put you on a waiting queue. And as I can expand a little bit later, the waiting queue has grown, unfortunately. Melly, is there anything that I missed on HMIS or CES that you wanted to clarify?
Sure. I just did want to add that HMIS is basically the data repository for the continuum of care, which is the COC. So partnered with 47 agencies with over more than 200 projects that are servicing our persons and households that are experiencing homelessness or formerly homeless. So the HMIS has a network of 230 end users that enter data into the system. So any provider that works within the homeless system is required to adhere to the data requirements that are attached with HMIS. So we are the lead agency for HMIS. So it's basically a database that's used by all homeless service providers.
That's a big responsibility, and thank you for explaining how you really track that. Because as we will discuss in our conversation, people experiencing homelessness, it's not really a set thing, right? It's about instability and not really sure when you can stay for the night. So I was wondering then, the coordinated entry system, when people call in, what kind of resources can they be connected to? Is there any sort of very specific things that they can expect when they're calling in?
Sure. So basically, when a caller calls CES, they are going to be greeted by one of our agents, and the representative is going to ask questions to gain an understanding of their housing situation. The discussion will include like potential alternatives to entering the emergency shelter. Basically, it's a method referred to as housing problem solving. So the clients don't have to call every day because they will remain active in the queue. However, the help desk representative will call these individuals when a shelter availability is open to place them in shelter. But we do ask that clients call every 30 days to ensure, just to check in and to make sure that their family situation hasn't changed. And if it does, just to update us, because it's really dependent on prioritization as to where the client is in regarding their homeless status.
Thank you for that. I guess switching gears a bit, it's kind of hard to really talk about the topic of people experiencing homelessness in just 10 to 15 minutes. But so I appreciate we're kind of going over the broad aspects of it. But as Juan mentioned, there are wait lists and there's a lack of shelters right now across the state. And state officials have not yet declared state of emergency regarding homelessness in Rhode Island. But a lot of public advocates are calling for it. I was wondering if you could provide some light on what would that mean? Really, what would that enact?
Sure. So I can speak a little bit about what other counties and other places across the United States have done. Just a newsflash: there haven't been many places that have enacted a state of emergency. This is a relatively new way of tackling this problem. But in 2015, Seattle / King County in Washington State, Portland, Oregon, and the entire state of Hawaii had declared a state of homelessness, a state of emergency for homelessness. And 2 months ago, LA had declared state of emergency as well. And then 3 other communities, San Jose, California, Eugene, Oregon, and Oakland, have also declared a housing or a shelter crisis, so slightly separate from a state of emergency. And like I said, it has not been a very common strategy. But the reasons why we suggested and why many of these other governments suggested declaring a state of homelessness or a state of emergency, for homelessness, is to reduce bureaucratic barriers such as bypassing zoning requirements. Say, for example, you go to your local city and town, there are certain zoning requirements to what you can build, where you can build, what type of housing you can build. That would help bypass some of that, which allows for a quicker ability to use city-owned property to open and maintain shelters. So it's not just for housing, but also for shelter.
Gotcha.
And then it would also suspend status and regulations for the purpose of facilitating or contracting with private providers of homeless services. It would prioritize homelessness as an issue, help redirect some funds, and help foster some of that interagency collaboration that to help all those moving parts work together, because it's not just local governments, it's also advocates, it's service providers, street outreach workers, everyone's sort of working in coordination to do that. And declaring that would really mean more funding, more collaboration, and less bureaucratic red tape.
I see. Thank you for that. I was wondering then, are there any specific bills as of right now your organization is trying to prioritize for this new year coming forward?
Yeah, I got 3 of them actually so far. That there's a few others as well, and there's some budgetary stuff. But I can speak to 3 bills because they just happened last week. There was a hearing on them in housing judiciary. One is represented by Rep. Morales. Is actually my representative in my district, and Rep. Morales's bill would lower. Oh, no, sorry, I got kind of confused on that. Rep. Morales's bill would eliminate the need for people who are applying to for a rental property, applying to get an apartment. It would eliminate their need to pay an application fee. Now, what we've been finding are some landlords will take that initial application fee and you won't ever see that money again. You won't see whether they ran a background check. You won't see what the status of that. There's just like, here's your $60, and then, good luck.
Yeah.
The other bill, which is sponsored by Rep. Stewart, would prevent landlords from raising your rent without giving you 120 days notice. And for seniors age 62 and up, it would be 180 days. And a lot of that is protections. I mean, we've heard many stories of people with the housing crisis that's going on in the state. Rental rates are getting higher. Obviously, if you're looking for a house, that's also the price of a house. It's more expensive. So this would provide some sort of protection for the tenant and allow them to either rework their budgets to make sure that they're meeting that, or seek another place to stay if they can't afford that place. And the last but not least would be Code Red and Code Blue, and that's done by Rep. Speakman. And that bill itself would allow formerly incarcerated individuals to actually, it's not Code Red, Code Blue, sorry. It's another bill. Code Red, Code Blue is totally another thing. This particular bill by Rep. Speakman would allow incarcerated individuals to basically reduce their barriers to accessing housing. Some folks may have been in the system, they get out of the system, and the reason why sometimes recidivism or going back into jail is so high is because they don't have stable housing. Stable housing is first and foremost one of the basic needs that people need to sort of stabilize their situation and get ahead in life. So if you have a stable house, you're able to have a stable job. If you have a stable job, you're able to meet your needs, and you're able to get out of this cycle of homelessness and cycle of poverty that many Rhode Islanders, but specifically many Latinx Rhode Islanders, are dealing with.
Right. That was great. Thank you. I kind of put you on the spot, so I appreciated those good summaries. It's absolutely something we'll be following. And along with this interview and video, we have a web doc below attached. So I'll have more information on each of these bills along with other resources we're talking about on there, so our readers can go dive in when they have the time. So we're running out of time, but I wanted to give you guys just a moment if there are any other resources, reminders that you wanted to share with our audience before we go.
Yeah, so particularly the programs that I run are targeted to connect with our constituents in the community. So we offer legal clinics, which is a program that we work with volunteer attorneys that provide free consultation to clients who are experiencing some type of legal barrier. So they can connect with our attorneys via phone or attend one of our legal clinics that occur. One is at the Warm Center in Westerly, and the other one is at Safe Haven in Woonsocket. So folks can feel free to reach out to me if they want to attend and find out more information about that. We also offer housing clinics, which our housing navigator meets with clients that need support in finding housing, they may need a little bit more support in filling out applications. They help them mail them out. Any questions about like subsidized housing, so we offer that as well. We have a constituent advisory committee, which is a committee that has members that have lived experience of homelessness, and it's really a space to create more leadership opportunities for these folks, and also they are the liaison and basically the voice for the community, and they participate a lot in the decision makings of the organization and just around the work that we're doing. And they do receive compensation for their expertise. We also offer our Voices of Homelessness, which is our speakers bureau, where clients with lived experience have the opportunity to provide their testimony and tell their stories in the community. So we are always recruiting for those two committees. So anybody can just feel free to reach out if you have lived experience and you do want to share your story and attend our committees. You can also reach out to me. We also have SOAR, which is our program where we assist our folks that are unhoused to apply for SSI and SSDI. So that is also a service that we offer. And anything else, please follow us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, and our LinkedIn account. And um, for any clients that are experiencing homelessness, please call our call center. The number is 401-277-4316. Thank you so much.
Of course, your team's busy. Yeah, we'll have all that information as well written down. So links,
Perfect.
numbers.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, both of you, for coming. I'm sorry we didn't have more time, but Juan and Melly, thank you so much for joining us and talking with us today. And thank you for your work so much.
Thank you, Billing.
Nice being on.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Everyone, please join us next time on Rhode Island Opinion Plus. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community is curious about. For more information on our discussion today, check out our web story on RhodeIslandLatinoNews.com and follow us on Twitter at Rhode Island Latino News. I'm Belen Dumont with Rhode Island Latino News Opinion Plus, and I will see you all next time.